Well, I mean, different responses, if I may. First of all, we want the government to succeed, because if the government succeeds in delivering a safe and beneficial agreement, which is what everyone wants, what we want, then Gibraltar succeeds. So we hope for the best outcome in these talks. But equally, we've had, this is now the third round of foreign secretaries meeting with the chief minister, and it creates a level of expectation. So many people will be disappointed that it hasn't come to an outcome yet. It hasn't come to an outcome 8 years after Brexit and 12 months after Mr. Picardo assured the electorate before the 2023 election that he was 0.01% away from an agreement.
Is that a little bit ungenerous, though? I mean, we know that these things are complicated, and that the government's line is we won't rush into anything that might not be safe and beneficial.
Well, I don't think it's ungenerous, because I didn't coin the phrase that he was 0.01% of an agreement. Mr. Picardo said it before the 2023 election, and he must have said it knowing he was about to call a general election, and said it with a view to persuading people that he should be backed again at the 2023 election. So I don't think it's ungenerous to point that out, and I think a lot of people might reach the conclusion now that that cannot have been true when it was said. I certainly make the allowance of understanding that this is a very complex process, and it has indeed been a process. Here we are, 8 years after Brexit, and a significant time since these talks opened. And we in the opposition, not only do we understand the complexity, we've given the government a huge amount of space to negotiate a safe and beneficial agreement. We've criticized the government from time to time on things that we think they should be criticized on, but we have given them a lot of political space, which I think is clear implied support for a safe and beneficial agreement if they can land it.
Mr. Picardo last night on Viewpoint was talking about not making any concessions in these negotiations, but that there may need to be compromises from all sides. What do you say to that? I mean, how do you feel about that language?
Well, look, I've always said, in the same way that we give them space, I've always said that we are aiming to achieve a safe and beneficial agreement, but we will make the judgment as to whether it ticks the box of safe and beneficial when the agreement is published, and we can look at the detail and we can then make that assessment, because we are unsighted on the detail, And one of the marvelous things about yesterday was that journalists were able to talk for 20 or 30 minutes about an event where very little of detail and of substance was actually said. There's a lot of speculation about what's going on and what the issues are, but the reality is that not even the protagonists speak really about the detail of the issues. And so we are not going to be drawn into what we would do or what we would react. Let's have a look at the draft agreement. Let's have a look at the agreement when it's entered into, and we will make that judgment. And we're not being briefed on the detail.